Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Wallace-Cast. Now we're going to get right into things. You should know how this works now. I know it's only 2 episodes, but long story short, a good friend of mine wants me to he sent me a spoiler image on Discord. I'm not going to show you it, but I'm going to describe it to you once I've seen it, of course. So I'm going to open it up right now so he doesn't have to watch the whole thing to, find it. I'm going to click on it in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so it's so the background is like a poster for the Netflix original A Better Call Saul from the creators of Breaking Bad, and then edited over is like a 2019 calendar, with all the months at the bottom half and stuff, and then it has over the in the middle it says one fish shop store, small fish stop S. I think it's meant to like loop around or something maybe. That's not a 1 at the start, it's an L. Small fish shop store. I don't get it. It's not. But it's kind of funny actually. What were we on to next? Okay, so the main large topic, which is going to make this one really long. Reading the first 3 chapters of the Communist Manifesto, as well as the opening. A spectre is haunting Europe. The spectre of communism. All the powers of old Europe have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise the spectre. Pope and Tsar, Metternich and Guizot, French radicals and German police spies. Where is the party in opposition that has not been decried as communistic by its opponents in power? Where is the opposition that has not been hurled back the branding reproach of communism against the more advanced opposition parties, as well as against its reactionary adversaries? 2 things result from this fact. 1, communism is already acknowledged by all European powers to be itself a power. 2, it is high time that communists should openly, in the face of the whole world, publish their views, their aims, their tendencies, and meet this nursery tale of the spectre of communism with a manifesto of the party itself. To this end, communists of various nationalities have assembled in London and sketched the following manifesto, to be published in the English, French, German, Italian, Flemish, and Danish languages. Chapter 1. Bourgeoisie and Proletarians. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guildmaster and journeyman. In a word, oppressor and oppressed. Stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight. A fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large, or in the common ruin of the contending classes. In the earlier epochs of history, we find almost everywhere a complicated arrangement of society into various orders, a manifold garrison of social rank. In ancient Rome we have patricians, knights, plebeians, slaves. In the Middle Ages, feudal lords, vassals, guildmasters, journeymen, apprentices, serfs. In almost all of these classes again, subordinate gradations. The modern bourgeois society that sprouted from the ruins of feudal society has not done away with class antagonisms. It has but established new classes. Also, sorry, my reading's really bad. I know, it's just reading out aloud's really hard, but it's funny, kinda. New conditions of oppression, new forms of struggle in place of the old ones. Our epoch, the epoch of the bourgeoisie, possesses, however, this distinct feature. It has simplified class antagonisms. Society as a whole is more and more splitting up into 2 great hostile camps, into 2 great classes directly facing each other, bourgeoisie and proletariat. From the serfs of the Middle Ages sprang the chartered burghers of the earliest towns. From these burgesses, the first elements of the bourgeoisie were developed. The discovery of America, the rounding of the Cape, opened up fresh ground for the rising bourgeoisie. The East Indian and Chinese markets, the colonization of America, trade with the colonies, the increase in the means of exchange and in commodities generally, gave to commerce, to navigation, to industry, an impulse never before known. And thereby to the revolutionary element in the tottering feudal society, a rapid development. The feudal system of industry in which industrial production was monopolized by closed guilds now no longer sufficed for the growing wants of the new markets. The manufacturing system took its place. The guild masters were pushed on one side by the manufacturing middle class. Division of labour between the different corporate guilds vanished in the face of division of labour in each single workshop. Meantime, the markets kept ever growing, the demand ever rising. Even manufacture no longer sufficed. Thereupon steam and machinery revolutionized industrial production. The place of manufacture was taken by the giant modern industry, the place of the industrial middle class by industrial millionaires, the leaders of the whole industrial armies, the modern bourgeoisie. Modern industry has established the world market, for which the discovery of America paved the way. This market has given an immense development to commerce, to navigation, to communication by land. This development has, in its turn, reacted on the extension of industry, and in proportion as industry, commerce, navigation, railways extended in the same proportion, the bourgeoisie developed, increased its capital, and pushed into the background every class handed down from the Middle Ages. We see, therefore, how the modern bourgeoisie itself is itself the product of a long course of development, of a series of revolutions in the modes of production and of exchange. Each step in the development of the bourgeoisie was accompanied by a corresponding political advance of that class, an oppressed class under the sway of the feudal nobility, an armed and self-governing association in the medieval commune. Here, independent urban republic, as in Italy and Germany, there, taxable third estate of the monarchy, as in France, afterwards in the period of manufacturing proper, serving either the semi-feudal or the absolute monarchy as a counterpoise against the nobility, and in fact cornerstone of the great monarchs in general, the bourgeoisie has at last, since the establishment of modern industry and of the world market, conquered for itself in the modern representative state exclusive political sway. The executive of the modern state is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie. I need to take a drink, hold on. Got Pepsi Max on deck. We might not read all 3 chapters. The bourgeoisie, historically, has played a most revolutionary part. The bourgeoisie, wherever it has got the upper hand, has put an end to all feudal, patriarchal, idyllic relations. It has pitilessly torn asunder the motley feudal ties that bound man to his natural superiors, and has left remaining no other nexus between man and man than naked self-interest, than callous cash payment. It has drowned the most heavenly ecstasies of religious fervour, of chivalrous enthusiasm, of Philistine sentimentalism, in the icy water of egotistical calculation. It has resolved personal worth into exchange value, and in place of the numberless indefeasible chartered freedoms, has set up that single, unconscionable freedom, free trade, in one word, for exploitation, veiled by religious and political illusions. It has substituted naked, shameless, direct, brutal exploitation. The bourgeoisie has stripped of its halo every occupation hitherto honoured and looked up to with reverent awe. It has converted the physician, the lawyer, the priest, the poet, the man of science into its paid wage labourers. The bourgeoisie has torn away from the family its sentimental veil and has reduced the family relation to a mere money relation. The bourgeoisie has disclosed how it came to pass that the brutal display of vigour in the Middle Ages, which reactionaries so much admire, found its fitting complement in the most slothful indolence. It has been the first to show what man's activity can bring about. It has accomplished wonders far surpassing Egyptian pyramids, Roman aqueducts, and Gothic cathedrals. It has conducted expeditions that put in the shade all former exoduses of nations and crusades. The bourgeoisie cannot exist without constantly revolutionising the instruments of production, and thereby the relations of production, and with them the whole relations of society. Conservation of the old mode of production in unaltered form was, on the contrary, the first condition of existence for all earlier industrial classes. Constant revolutionising of production. I'm going to stop reading. I'm going to stop reading this aloud. Okay, it was on my reading list, okay? And, I figured kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I really, really like reading. And I'm not a communist, I'm just reading it, to get a better perspective on it. But reading out loud is so hard. I'm No, I'm not. I'm not carrying on reading it on this. I'm sorry. I'm broken promises. Whatever you want. I don't have anything written down. Although this is gonna be a shorter Wallace-Cast than the previous one. But yeah, I did receive one question in the comments of the last one. And it was from a good man by the name of Lucas, also known as Luke, who riddled me this. He said, in layman's terms, that when I said you shouldn't hold job ref for Green Wank 5, but you could hold job ref for another episode of the Tomcock podcast, he asked, what about Bobby 4? Bobby, of course, being a little meme series. And I might make a video called Bobby 4, but the thing with Bobby as a series is there's no story, there's no plot. It's just... It's basically just the same as when I made those videos called Shitpost and then just numbered them, but I called it Bobby instead of Shitpost. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now I'm on your left. Now I'm on your right. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know why I said now I'm on your left, now I'm on your right. It passed my mind because I remember I Hate Everything said it in a video I watched a long time ago. Sloshing sound. Hello Pandora fans, hello Pandora fans, hello Pandora fans, hello Pandora fans.